All right, we're at just under 600 miles. I think it was 588. We'll look here in a second. We're going to do our oil change. I'll show you what I got. I bought 2 oil filters and I bought 2 gallons of the full synthetic high performance motorsports Yamalube. This is what St. John's said they would use if they were doing my oil change, and that this is what they think is the best oil for this. And again, this is basically a baby Tenere. I keep telling everybody it's the unicorn. So the front sprocket is also compatible with the Yamaha. And we will start off. I'll go ahead and I really don't need to, but I'll pull the skid plate off for this. That is a 13 millimeter, and you can use a 12 point, but I'm going to use a 6 point because you do better with a 6 point. You know, another shout out to CFMOTO. I've been telling you how they use the marking pin. They marked this bolt and they marked the hole where the head of the bolt lined up. We'll just back out of it a little bit to where you could tell when they were, you know, originally put on, so you could tell they weren't backing off. And they did that to all of them. So kudos again to CFMOTO. They seem to really be picking up where a lot of people have left off. And see, here's one just right here. And that's just the oil cap. And I've checked the oil. I've removed that. But it comes back to almost the exact same spot. They do it here. I mean, it's on there. They do it in a lot of places that seem to be important. And that little booger right there, that's going to get replaced before I leave. That's for sure. So there we have it. 4 bolts, and it's off. Like I said, they're 13 millimeter, which is 1/2 inch. The nice thing too is your oil drain plug is on the side at the low point when it's on its side stand. And the oil drain plug is a 17 millimeter. Now when you look at the drain plug, you can see the crush washer behind it. Make sure you get a crush washer. Now I've been out in the field to where I just had to use the same crush washer, and I was able to turn it around and get a fresh crush. And now looking again, you see as I'm turning this out, see the blue mark? From underneath, that was in there tight. And I'm gonna hold pressure against it, okay, till I feel it slide, knowing that it's actually all the way out, but I'm trying to push it in at the same time, because what that's doing is keeping the oil from going everywhere. So I'm trying to push it in while I'm turning it out till you feel it go past once. There we go. See that? And there's where I bought my bikes. I bought the NK 450 first, and now I bought the MT or the Ibex 450 second. I bought them both at St. John's. And see, odometer 300 to 600 miles. So, which is 500 to 1,000 kilometers for your first oil change. So there you go. That's your proper break-in. You can go up to 600 miles. And when I went in for the sprocket at 450 miles, he said my oil looked good enough to go to the 600. I could have, would have, should have, possibly, maybe done this first, but I didn't. So now we're going to loosen the oil cap. And again, see the pin mark? Redundancy, it's key, but I love it. I'll go pull my oil filter now, and I'll get you the amount of oil that it takes. And what do we have here on the oil filter? Again, it's marked where it was to ensure that it never came loose. When you take your filter off, you might want to check your box, make sure you got another rubber seal there, because you might need that. All right, right out of the box, we have our new rubber seal. Now, you're going to want to take some oil and oil the threads and oil your seal before you put it back up. Always get it wet with oil. Well, there we go. It even says it. Apply a film of oil to gasket and screw on filter tightly by hand. Replace filter every 6,000 kilometers or 100 hours. So there we go. And 6,000 kilometers is 3,700 miles, 3,700. So yeah, when you hear people saying they did 6,000 K, that's only 3,000 miles, 3,700, so almost 4,000. So yeah, the only thing I'm saying is, when I tell you I'm probably going to be doing between 11 and 14,000 actual miles, you know, because pin to pin was 10,000. Yeah, so we're going to be close to 20,000 kilometers when we're done. Now you can see we've got our white and blue mark here, and if you look, that's pretty much even with the Chinese lettering just below the C4. And well, I don't know a veteran that doesn't love C4, so I won't forget. That's just below the C4 mark. Anyhow, you want to put this on hand tight. Now I got fairly decent strength, so I'm able to really snug it up really well. I can get my whole hand in here and everything. There we go. I even got more after it set for a minute. So now we are at the C4 mark. Check that out. We're dead on the C4. And I'm telling you, I really put a torque on it with my hands as good as I could. And that was as far as I could go. But after it set, hey, I don't know. Go figure, right? Anyway, it's there. So I'll never forget where that's at now. So I did get 2 crush washers with the oil filters. I mean, in the past, you know, even talking to a friend of mine, we've reused crush washers for multiple uses. But like I said, they don't recommend it at all. I would turn it around once without any hesitation. You should be able to get 2 oil changes out of a crush, but that's against every rule, every law, every book. So don't do what I do as I say, not as I do. Yeah, there you go. Oh my God, I'm my dad. You see this? Hand tight all the way in. You should have absolutely no problem putting that all the way on before you put a wrench on it. And make sure your crush washer's in there before you put the bolt back on. It says, first remove 2.64 quarts, and then it says replace 2.64 quarts. Go figure. 2.5 liters, my friends. So there's 4 quarts in a gallon. So I'm going to actually have 1.36 quarts left times 2. So guess what I got? I have enough for 3 oil changes because I bought 2 gallons. Anyway, I'm gonna bring the oil and the other oil filter for my other oil change, along with the extra crush washer. Don't forget those. I recommend, if you haven't done this, getting a small funnel. But if you're gonna pour from the jug, the secret is not doing that. Don't do that. You got to turn this to the top. You turn your spout to the high side. Okay, I'm holding the jug, or leaning the jug on the engine block, because I'm holding the camera in my other hand. Otherwise, I would hold that about 1 inch high. I'll show you. I haven't started it yet. So when I stand the bike upright, it's just maybe slightly over the line, but we have not started the bike yet. So once that goes in the filter, I imagine it's going to be down between the 2 marks, maybe 3/4 of the way. We'll find out here in just a second. We know we're good. You start off here going in reverse, 1, 2 quarts, so you're going to be just over the halfway down. So if that's 2.5, you want to be just under it. And when I hold the jug up straight, because the bike's leaning, we're right about the 2.5 mark. And we're good on the oil mark. So let's start her up, find out. And again, putting the oil cap back on, you know, now that's been on and off a couple of times, it's just slightly past the original mark. See, they even did the springs. I'm telling you, they really do these things right. So with that being said, let's start it up. We'll let it idle for a minute, and then we'll check it, turn it off, let it settle. But I'll let you hear the first startup. I do got my water jug holder there, so I have water until I get a Camelback. I got to get a new Camelback. All right, so we're in neutral, and we're going to start it up. There we go. Let it idle for a minute. Circulating that beautiful new oil. You notice I let it run for approximately a minute before I even just barely loosened the throttle to push out the oil. Now we'll let it settle for a minute and we'll check it. And after you run it the first time and you get her to full operating temperature, I suggest going back and seeing if you cannot hand tighten that any further. Like I said, you check your oil plug, see, perfect, no leaks. Shouldn't, but there's not. But I would definitely put another hand on that oil filter and just make sure you can't get a little more snug once she gets warm, and while she's warm, just as she's starting to cool off enough to touch it. I've added oil twice more, just barely, and gets us right up to the, when I put the bike up level, just below the full line, which I'm good with because that's right at it. And it was halfway when I picked it up from the dealer, so it was about dead in the middle. And I have the motorcycle cradle in the garage that I put it in, and that holds it perfectly straight up and down. I'll double check it there. But what I will tell you is I started it twice more. I rode it around the block because you got to remember, this is one solid case. So from my understanding, your clutch, your gears, your transmission, your engine, everything all run through this oil. So get it out, shift gears, get everything lubed back in the gearbox. Allow your oil filter time to, absorb any oil that it's going to take, just to maintain. And then that was after I started it, and I ran it sitting here 3 times before I took it for the ride. After I took it for the ride, came back, it's at the exact same spot. So we are good. We are good. We are good. We are good. Oh, and the mileage, I said I thought it was 588. Check it out. We are, come on now, 587. See if we can get it to focus. Right there, 587 miles. So we're perfect for our 600-mile oil change. And like I said, the book says 3,700 miles every time after that. And that's what we'll do. Okay, and lastly, you can see there's no marks on that. So it's raw copper. This one has a few little lines on it, and you can tell that it's been pinched. But I'll show you the other side. It doesn't look much different, okay? Still maintained a nice flat surface. I'll show you where the difference is. It may be slightly thinner, but not enough so it'd make a difference that you couldn't use it again. I mean, we're talking the used one's on the left right there, the shinier one. The new one's the dull one, see? And it actually, it's still as thick. So that's why I say, keep your crush washers. I bought new ones, but that's why I said you could absolutely get away with that if you needed to all day long.